Ora Samuel Abe encoding komo embra wono executive secretary at the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana na adopemene no eni enkomo. Same otimeka good morning bibia moko there.
Nyame adumo mechemu nyina so.
Very well. Adope yeah so it's finally the president has assented to a year the bills are ya pass and no give you ways and they know you betimi ahwe na eto ahodo aban no a project here in the 2023 budget no ebetime aye juma na afi yetime ajeje mamintio on this and the impact ewo mo businesses so
yo me da se na akwenya say ye koye ni ma na am say mdimbe twe mu no ye ti enya huti enya ati say ye de sabi ya ko parliament ye ko honum ekoka ya ma petition secretary on say taxes on daban abeto ye ni na once they are considering the amendment no we expect the senka on be engage stakeholders any businesses are and you know more years are increment no na fe ni ahwe se kwan fofo bi ho no wa bit me raise taxes na enhwe no na we na de koye no in fact I'm say minority leader pe na oshia at to forcing okay discuss here na
Kessben
trade committee in the finance committee and friends saying speaker of parliament you know in fact you call no HS sada no am say no more your friends saying Ghana card voters identification bill no ntina no na ye problem kaka we call late in the night into me share but that two committees trade committee anyway and at least even acknowledgement say yansaka na sam me pamu ye be share asoma ye kan say there's not been any engagement ntino yentwa nanka be lobby say beba no nanka e bit me share ama ye discuss because e fa obia ho from the child in the womb to the old person who is over 120 years no e fa ye na ye ho and a president no you are standing in for all these people ye na able to marshal on ma say bibia mba bia no ehia senka at least modi citizens ni bedi mu bobo ye hwe ya amanjantum mokoye ekopase bieli ema bieli eko president ho na ko president when you send the petition and send the command say in fact nia esese ye ye nye nti ebe ya emfa wonsa ntintim so obetwen na fe no omo abehia na nkita ho bia so mo ni edi no endi mu ansa na ndie so odon sa sheswa na chese ye nyina ya jatum unfortunately acknowledgement crap where chese omusaka omamaebi
omusaka demokrata no presidency no mo nya response bia
ya response bia amba ebo bia nka ho aye di eni die de koto aban ni ma ye hwesenka obegina so na wa sade no bibia samba ntino endra ye ti say president no sent it to those bills no in fact ya bebre na metumi aka say it's one of the darkest days in this country because once in Sanso de Bebano mean to me and Chesenia Ebebano.
Yes, I don't know so nanka member says here no ebisa say the passage of it and the assent in our campaign in Ashas here no and so no day what are we to expect as a citizen?
Don't say billion old bill and a new bill.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, they call yeah amendment no. Kasa ne say ye increase no. Say now ye maho kana ye increase existing taxes na wo ho no. Say na be ya ye betumi enya sesika no e dia hewe. Nanka ordinarily no wo hwe ne wo ho dada na ye so say intumi ntua. And now if you look at the past friends saying 5 years under this administration, there's been series of taxes introduced, new ones and increased your friends saying VAT and all those things. And I will share your friends saying your port dispensation is why so many levies and taxes. Afaba. And you know, we share the imports in this country now. Make me catch you say it has gone down to almost about 40%. Obiananko to me, near ma oton, a baby of 5 containers in a year, and then to me you two, or you one. You know, the revenue now we should share what that side, no, are falling. And now we share your friend is saying the past 8 months, you know, what has happened to your friends and businesses and individuals in this country, and now we all hold the investment piano. The value it depreciates almost about 60% within 3 months. Anka and meanwhile you call you and never be stabilized. Need to me I guess I recovery, you know. In repair muna say na year, na just say share will abide say ebia will be introducing measures ebema eka ya bonny losses aya ni nano. You bet to me I recover. Intino na just will be introducing loss ebema businesses, you know, enya some reprieve. Eko yenim. Now, at their law, we say all the manufacturing sectors and obia or employ your friends or what staff on your muye jumano. Indication of woman is 1 income tax bill. No, wow, or salary. I won't just Emma buying. I would say caption around 480. You say 5 something around 480.
Okay.
You know. So say and say migrate to I won't income tax there my bank. They say you bet migrate to a different level. You do to some different level. Now buying no be survey or lower bar no. Let's just say what won't charge you so see how be here. Now who yet this I can free income tax ne free work to mono. We employer and ankasa so income tax as on sutuano. Let's just obey bobusia no dia kan ho. No we to my bank. And then nature say at the problem beba. The same employer now or no manufacturer no excise duty now de ba no. We increase now. Or no and also no obedience and so on. And a nipa nankasa no so better nankasa no. Nature say the cost of living no ako high. Esan say the income low. Inti no yenhwe na sade we yampa sa onye ne yamba nya sa ebeha nema bebre. And now we share sustainability bill and kasana. Companies are here migrate to Omugusu na big manufacturers are yes and losses of Muyeno in Quebec. We'll see Omumbi 2.5% of their investment and amount. And no a free and some Venezuela or some taxes at the amount. Now, equivalent yes, I do. 2.9. Or maybe in the yes, at the end of the day, no, the same companies as the music car who introducing new taxes at each year. The same companies you go to them to increase. Now, yes, I know so. Yeah, manufacturing. As we are moving on onto the next level, wholesaling aspect, I go to follow a be munisani a and a retail aspect, it be more effect or almost essence. What Ukrainian man getting one container and stand them out de bano. A ye biana food juices and friends and so that's in the man. What taxes never cost because they are asking a minimum of 20% a year excise duty.
Okay, but
you know, so they decide to increasing more, and as a very way, and let's just say the whole facet normal I implementing in Nano. Yen na ye baba ye, and as a baby chia more, I'm buying. Yeah, just a name repair money.
Miss Abby, my main kinkai memorandum by or Mampenny, Mr. Mampenny, Finance Minister, at the car a year proposed bill neho at the time a call Parliament, for which reason and that bill no ya pass na a fayinti say some reasons in tia. Exercise tax stamp bill no a day changes by also the object of the exercise tax stamp amendment bill 2022 is to amend the exercise tax stamp bill 2013 act 873 to replace the list of products that are required to be affixed with exercise tax stamp. There are a number of products that are currently do not attract the excise duty which are being brought to charge in 2023. This includes sweetened and unsweetened beverages, electronic cigarettes, and then other smoking devices and additives used in these devices. This measure is to aim at reducing me person attention about. So I say this measure is aimed at reducing the negative impact of the sugar, sweetness, flavoring, nicotine, and other chemicals used as additives in beverages and liquids consumed by patrons of this product. The utilization of the stamps will also assist in curtailing the smuggling and counterfeiting of the product and ensure revenue generation for the government. And the bill seeks to amend sections 2 of Act 873. Now, some reason I buy at the bar, and yet tangible reason enough until Mobeka say M1 Mujumedia Modi.
Yo, me that's very. We share the narration of your friends and as a narrative of the bill now.
Yeah.
Sisiano, we be sound who say, Yamano Makani Nano, Emunia Winnie, a D in Yakasia. Ye tobacco film. Nebisa say, and Sana Wonomuno. A day, Yarabin at the Brewana. These are things that we eat every day. Now, regulator or no more a nejuma oye. Until before and son all the product be a back home and also very production be an home hand. The regulator which is for instance the FDA regulates Sanyamano to the core to make sure that the limits that they have set for the standards are met. Before and son on my own product in the better room. Ebaba Egaswa Beton. Until where lies the truthfulness in what has been said.
Will you agree say it be an assessment? I don't know who the levels are and what
okay. So who say why a levels why a research and as the proponents be go for the proponents of this friends and bill.
Yeah.
Shall say there's a problem there. The first person that you go to is a regulator. Now, what you almost say, the ABCD and our research actually is saying because in Gofu they are highly qualified personnel, doctors who are very well vested in science, and they know the consequences of everything that they approve and release onto the market.
Okay.
Until they will not do anything untoward. So, if you have any problem, it's the regulator that you discuss with. No, actually says. Mo yes anyama we mo fa sa kwan we so na mo fa nye ne sese mo ye won to me enko sa limit we wa wo be ko sa limit we no ye be ban no and also products may be free market are destroying because there's a danger in there. Intino saban be jina no ka say these are the things that are happening and therefore we need to introduce. You are looking at the monetary aspect. But men can be being chill. 2017 they implemented VAT. I was the very person who was kicking against this thing for 2 years until this government came, and finally they brought about certain accessions and go for adoptee.
Okay.
You understand? You agree, and now you did buy. But what I told then Honorable Kwekukwatin, who was the Deputy Minister for Finance, I told him, this thing that you are doing, we should tread very cautiously so that we don't rope in something like fruit juices into the onto the table for us to tax it, because you will be looking at the numbers, but not what happens. Because one can fruit juice create a problem for someone who drinks fruit juice. And when you are bringing fruit juices onto the table for them to pay accessible duty on it. Ask that question. What effect does fruit juice have? And when mobile taxing, I don't know when they are going to put taxation on them so that they will be putting meters on our nose. When we breathe, we need to pay. It's most unfortunate because you sit people down and tell them say ABCD, then you bring all the stakeholders on the table. for them to discuss the impact of what is happening. You don't increase the cost, because when you increase the cost, you have not solved the problem.
Aban so they control the lifestyle of the people, and then again, no, Aban as part of the memorandum, a lot of more members and also a smuggle product at the bar mining beton in your musica, whilst it be Emma Aban ho. In that sense, Aban will have to curtail most of those unapproved route more members ni be brenano ekra near Madiba mining.
Excuse me, my word. The most sensible thing to do when you are in a country and you realize that you have a problem, you understand, people are smuggling in your producer. Nanka Esenka, you to me smuggle out of Ghana, but we don't smuggle in, because the state, in the best of her. Into woman Yamabu, a co-former, the export drive will come in by itself. People will then export. So you bringing in something like fruit juice or soda products, will smuggle across the borders. And I say, oh yeah, a moon is an because of the back from Hanumwa is so cheap. So why do I bring in through the border? You understand? But when it's expensive, you find ways and means to bring in so that you make more profit. Now, go for yes, I know. When one can say politicians no motive, they are involved.
They are involved.
They know what is happening, because when you bring in security measures and you make a proposal to them, they try to brush those ones aside. They know what they are doing, so they shouldn't say, "Yeah, in Kofona, friends, businesses, no, there's smugglers and money." In any case, May last year, when the minister said we are going to increase the benchmark values, one of the questions I asked him, this thing that you are doing will have a negative impact on this country. So therefore, you have to be careful. People are pushing, manufacturers, protect your local manufacturers in this animal. Let me ask you, for the past 20 years, benchmark values, the money that has been accrued, can you tell me, have they been able to invest $1 and as a one cedi in local manufacturing businesses? Nothing. When they take that money, it goes into government consumption. When they take the money, it goes into the government consumption. Into manufacturing, is suffering in this country. Others are closing down, contemplating relocating to other countries. And if it happens like that, if you are a government and your manufacturing sector are cut down, then your government is not there. Because where lies the employment? People will go home, will become poorer. There will be unemployment in the system. So people will go home. But when you take this money, the best thing for you to do is to reinvest in our local production so that the cost of production in this country will go down. We've been raising these issues over years, and nothing is being done. And for them to make those assertions and say, when we increase that, it will then control the lifestyle of this thing. It will not do anything, but rather impoverish you, the consumer, and the ordinary Ghanaian. You see, because where they sit, we are paying for every expenses that they make. So they don't see the suffering that people are making. But if we are demanding accountability from government, they will sit up. Unfortunately, in this country, people become a politician, and overnight we see them building houses and buying cars, spending lavishly, and we say, honorable. How can we do this to ourselves? Because the money that they are spending is the state money. And if you are not using it judiciously, what will happen is that you will then force the people to pay more. And it's not any time that when you increase taxes, there will be a development. If you want development to come into this country, check your taxes that you impose on the businesses that are within your country. So if it becomes very expensive for people to venture into production, then there's a problem. There's also another aspect that in Nema drinks and because these are some of the products that the regulator is not able to control. You understand? the regulator is not able to control. It is when it happens like that,
Kessben.
this product go into the market, and then people consume and they get sick without the regulator knowing. But anything that goes under the watch of the regulator, I'm telling you, there's no problem. So whatever they are saying, they are looking at the numbers that they are producing. Otherwise, why would you put excise duty on water? The water that a baby drinks, you ask them to pay before they pass it on to the baby. Are you very sensible as a government? This is very insensitive to the plight of the people that you are governing. So when we are saying things that we are not just talking about, say, because people want to make profit and all. Yesterday, I read on one of the website that Joe Wise was saying that people were making unnecessary profit, and therefore we need to also take money from them, ensure that they pay the right taxes. Excuse me to say, you're sitting in Parliament, and you're calling yourself honorable. I see that this man doesn't deserve to be called honorable at all.
Oh, the honorable Deputy Speaker?
He doesn't deserve to be honorable. Because you sit in there to look at the plight of the people, to make things easier for your constituents, for them to be able to have their daily meal on their table. But you don't go and impose taxes on them for them to pay more so that you can benefit from their sweat. You go in there because of them. But you go there when they call you now, you don't even listen to them at all. And then you tell us that this is what we are doing. And instead of you to look at whether the country will benefit or not, what they have done, they shouldn't blame anybody for any repercussions that may follow.
Okay. Mr. Ade, for the benefit of doubt, any métier for ATM ya no pay bisa say items so far aban e de aka ho no ebi ye de ne de.
Or can say bibia te say na ukan ye no, anything fruit juice.
Yes.
Sweetened and unsweetened. So the minister have the power to decide which product they will rope onto the table.
I see.
For us to pay taxes on. You see, that's the excise part. Then the other side, breweries, all of them, and the last manufacturing sector, all of them are being asked to pay upfront 2.5%. Immediately this law come into effect. Where are they going to take that money to give you?
And then you're backdated for the years for
the year that the law comes into effect, which is this year. And I'm sure with the way they are going, they will tell us that 1st or 2nd May, this law will come into effect. All the policies will be ready for them to roll out. And when it happens like that, all these companies that have been asked to pay, your service provider for telecoms, they will be asked to pay. That cost will be passed on to you. So your cost that you make and the amount that you buy for making your calls will be increased. The drink and the water that we drink, the beer that you drink, the cost will go up because the manufacturer is not Father Christmas. For them to be doling out free gifts, it will be passed on to you, the ordinary consumer. The excise duty, when it comes in, it will be passed out onto you. But somebody can say, if you take a manufacturer, for instance, the brewery companies, as they are paying the 2.5, they are also paying an increased excise duty. And then also looking at the employees, income tax levels are, and also they need to pay. So they have to borrow money from somewhere just to give to you because of your IMF policy. So you are sacrificing the Ghanaian to get your money that you want. But you are forgetting that our income levels are still where they are. And therefore, as you said in your budget that you are not going to employ people, it's only the private sector who has the power to employ at this time. And if we are going to employ, the best thing that you can do for us is to make the system more attractive so that we can take in more people, so that you get the necessary benefits of the taxes that you want. But you don't come and impose taxes that we will be railing behind, and then also cutting off jobs, and then increasing cost of the product for the ordinary consumer to consume. So, all the excuses that they gave because they need to safeguard something, they are not the ones to safeguard this thing and then to control people's lifestyle. They can only recommend, and people will choose the kind of life that they want to live. Government cannot control how people should live. It's impossible. So when there's a problem here, then we must reconsider introducing price control measures so that we know at the port that when you bring your goods, the tax that you have to pay or duty that you have to pay is 10% across board. Your VAT, we know that you have to pay around 10% across board. So the 30%, government can then tell you, say, BBR cost to 30%. We don't expect you to make a margin of more than 10%. This thing can be controlled easily. So nobody can take people from
and no, then it means say I buy consider Osana war as manufacturer who make excess profit.
You cannot, because there's a limit to which you can raise your margin. Okay. And it must be within the approved
margins.
So see, I know what we have, anybody can go out there and decide how much they want to pay, because the field is not the same. Because when you go to the retail end, those who are paying for 21%, 21.9% of VAT to government, others are paying 19.5%, others are paying 4%, and then just do the calculation and see whether we have a level playing field. So when we say these things are going to have effect, then we know what we are talking about. But I don't think those who are really advising government are taking all these things into consideration. Why should our people suffer? The very people that you are governing, why should they suffer before they make ends meet? Why?
Okay. Mzagre, my main now was here no pay, any inchimwa, what they are my ya share anymore, yakuya dim, you made home come obium. Why?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And Mr. Agri, Executive Secretary at the Ghana Food and Beverages Association, and I pay, yeah, they know at the Combono.